Welcome everybody. From Fear to Fierce, Vic asked me to do a session about being brave about putting our bits on the beach or by the pool. As I was kind of putting this together, I thought to myself, I need to listen to my own advice because this is really good. So let's hope it's up your street too. So as I mentioned, the workbook is in the chat and I'll pop that in the group as well. If you don't know me or we haven't seen each other, we haven't met each other yet, my name's Sarah. I help people generally with their careers, but also I do a lot around confidence and stuff like that. So that's why I've been invited to come and talk to you this evening. So we're going to unleash our beach babe or pool babe, or just wearing clothes that we like in the summer. I mean, when it's going to come, who knows? Any minute, they promise us. Unleashing our confidence. So by the time we get to the end of this session, we are going to hopefully have silenced some gremlins, be celebrating our body, talking about owning our beach day instead of it being an afterthought, something that we actually plan so that it's going to be the best that we can be. So when we're saying beach, we're just talking about getting our bodies out in swimsuit, bikinis, whatever you're comfortable in, be that on a beach, pool, etc. Who is going on holiday this year anywhere that is likely to be warmer than the 7.5 degrees? Lee, where are you off to?
Morocco in September.
Yes, definite warmth in Morocco.
Yeah.
Anyone else off somewhere nice? Yeah, Jill, where are you going?
We're going to France and it's going to be 39 days is my countdown.
I'm 37 days. Not that we're counting Chile. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be warmer. I'm going to. And Lucy's off to Mallorca in August. Fantastic. Alison, you going anywhere?
I've been already to California because my son lives there.
Nice.
So it wasn't really a beach. No, it wasn't really a beach holiday because I was with him and I've got a new granddaughter, so I went to see them. But I will definitely have some more holidays coming next year. So the thought of being in a bikini or swimsuit is scary.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit, isn't it? When we're kind of, thinking about this sort of stuff and our bodies changing and stuff. So first of all, we're going to silence our gremlins. So that's like that inner talk inside your head. Is anyone old enough to remember the gremlins?
Yes.
My daughter's 7 and I thought, oh, like maybe it'll be okay that she can watch this. And then I remembered how evil the gremlins looked. I thought maybe not if she ever is going to sleep again. So I'm going to save that for maybe when she's 12. So for anybody who's interested in this rather lovely looking gentleman, in the chat or out loud, whichever's good for you, what comes to mind when you think about getting your body out in the summer? What kind of springs to mind?
Mine would be terrible.
What's that? Sorry, Lee?
Sorry, definitely not.
Definitely not. Okay, Alison.
Mine would be terror. I'd be doing anything to cover myself up.
Oh my goodness, she's going to be in a wetsuit. Okay, my little voice says I'm too pale.
Yeah.
And people are probably staring at my wobbly bits.
Yeah.
Lucy, anything that comes to mind? Jill, anything that comes to mind when you're thinking about getting your body out in the summer? I'm not. We worry about what other people will think. Yeah, hate that. Hate that. So think about where this sort of stuff comes from. So where's the evidence from this stuff? Is it about what we think of other people, maybe? Has somebody said it to you? Is it that we're looking too much at Instagram and we're not following people that have got bodies like ours? We're like, following these women half our age and like looking all fabulous and who are fed macrobiotic diets and all the rest of it. So where does all of this sort of stuff come from? So when I think about, I feel like I'm too pale, it's because people always talk about how great you look with the tan and like how it feels when you're tanned and all of that, and you sort of feel smaller when you're not kind of pale and disinteresting. because, you know, the world tells you that you have to be tanned to be beautiful, right? Which obviously is not true. So what about for you guys? Like, what evidence is there that for the things that you think about?
I think mine stems back from my mum, bless her. I was never, I've never ever been skinny in my whole life. But when I was growing up, she used to say something that just haunts me, which is, you're not fat, you're just well covered.
Oh,
I
Oh,
think that, and you're not built for speed, you're built for comfort. And I think that just really sticks with me. And I joke about it with her now and we laugh, but I think it's just like that little, oh God, she obviously thought I was a fat kid and a fat teenager. And you can't, like, I don't know, get rid of that image, I think.
yeah.
So yeah, I think, when you got all your bits out, you think people are going, oh my God, look at the size of her legs, or look at the size of her bum or arms or whatever, So I think that's maybe where mine stems from. Bless her.
I'll just leave you with that just for 1 second. My kid is just hollering, so
Yeah,
just
yeah.
how's everyone getting on with the plan?
Yeah,
Good.
I was saying to Sarah, my exercise is good, but my food's not been so good of late. So I need to like get back into being back on the food plan, really.
That's why I've joined for the food, because I'm just
Yeah.
rubbish. I can't make
Yeah.
the right decisions for myself. I like think, oh, I've had a really good day, and then I'll eat something bad. So
Yeah.
I help.
That's
Desperate.
really easy to do though, isn't it?
Mm,
When you think, oh, I'll just sit down at night, have a cup of tea and I'll have a couple of biscuits or a bit of chocolate or something. That's like my downfall. So yeah, just need to refocus and reset again, really, with the food.
yeah, I've just started doing it, and today's been a big sort of low energy slump day because
Mm,
basically worked out that I'm probably addicted to coffee, addicted to carbs and sugar. So all of those things aren't amazing,
yeah,
are they? And
no, you've got to withdraw.
mm,
sorry about that, ladies.
Right?
Working from home and all that. Anyway, all of those things are completely, completely ridiculous, aren't they? Like just what Lee was saying about, what our parents have said, what we kind of believe, what we see. Like when we think about what the worries that we have, they've come from somewhere, that whether it's the media or what have you, they're not really real. So some of the lies that we're told, that only perfect bodies belong at the beach, right? Which is not true. Now, the last time I went to a beach, I consciously looked around and I thought to myself, most people look like me. Most people don't look like the people I see in my head that, belong on the beach or, whatever.
Mm,
Does anybody believe that only perfect bodies belong at the beach?
no.
Of course not. When you go to the pool or you go to the beach or whatever, do you look around and feel like, oh, people kind of look like me? They're ordinary bodies with,
Yeah.
they don't look like these people, do they?
I always feel bad. I always think that I look worse than everyone else. So
Mm,
or I'll always think that I just look awful and everyone else is fine.
But that's not really true, though, is it, Alison?
No, no, but I know, but I'm so unhappy with how I look that that's just all in my head.
But I think when we really look around and we do look at other people, and this is the point, isn't it? That often we're so worried about ourselves, we don't really care about other people.
mm.
One of the lies is you need a bikini body to wear a swimsuit. Is that true?
No.
Yeah. I know. I think the fact that what you said is you don't care about other people, you care about yourselves. I'm so preoccupied with thinking how awful I look. I don't even consider anyone else. I'm just trying to hide myself.
And that's probably what a lot of us do, Alison, to be fair.
Mm.
there's no such thing as a bikini body, right? Swimsuits come in all shapes and sizes. There's one perfect for us all. I mean, I'm still hunting for it, but they come in all different kinds, they're not just the skimpiest things. And what do we think of this lady's body at the beach?
It's fine.
Do we care?
No.
Do we feel disgusted that she dare have a bit of a belly?
No.
Are we
Not
horrified by it? Would we like get our harpoon out and say, get
No.
that whale off the beach? No, of course we wouldn't. Because like, who cares? Like, really? And it's not that this person should cover themselves up because they're disgusting, because nobody would feel like that about you either. Probably just more that people are brave for wearing what they wear, or they're stylish for wearing what they wear. Often, like if I see people that are in a really great swimsuit, I think to myself, where did they get that from? I want to wear that. Like, that looks really cool. Do we believe that cellulite, stretch marks and scars are really unattractive?
No.
We often do, like, about ourselves though, don't we?
Yeah.
But when we look at other people, this lady was an image that I found, that she's just blessed with cellulite all over her legs. And that's nothing to do with your weight. It's about your genetics. It's about, the amount of coffee you drink and all of this other stuff. Cellulite is not a fat people thing. It's not for overweight people or unfit people. A lot of the time it is just genetics. So this woman who, is, probably quite fit and healthy, has still got all of this on her legs. And it is just part of who we are. It's part of the human body. But what we're told is, a lot of the time, is that we've got this really strict definition of what a human body should look like, specifically what a woman's body should look like. And it kind of dictates how we feel about ourselves. It's not that, that people say, oh, well, it doesn't matter what you wear, or it doesn't matter how you look. Actually, women have been told for decades how we should look, how we should behave. And it really filters down into how we feel about ourselves. And it really is true that when we're at the beach and the pool, we see more people that look like us than look like America's Next Top Model. Do we believe that everyone is staring at our floors? Do we really believe it? Really? Think about it realistically, right? Do you stare at people? Sometimes you might look at people and think, oh, but do we really sit there and look at people and think, oh my God, look at those stretch marks on her belly. Oh, that's awful. We don't really, do we?
No.
You
But we
might,
think everyone's looking at us though.
yeah. But if we might have an opinion about somebody or what somebody's wearing, that you kind of keep in your head. But I don't think any of us look around a pool and go, state of that. Oh, look at her. Oh my God, how dare she wear that in public? I don't think we really do that. Most people don't, for sure. Do we? Jill, do we? We don't, do we? No, of course we don't. And I think because, like what we were saying to Alison, is that we're so preoccupied about ourselves, so worried about what we're doing, or, we're watching our children in the pool, making sure they're not drowning, or, we're reading our book or what's going on. We're so not worried about other people that we're solely focusing on ourselves. So we're more worried about our own flaws than everyone else. A lot of the times, I think, Alison, you said it, that we'll feel bad compared to other people. I found this image that was from a newspaper where all of these women weigh exactly the same. They all weigh, they all weigh 11 stone, I think it was. And you've got literally somebody who's 6 foot from a size 8 all the way through to 5'8", 5'1", who's a size 16. But they all weigh exactly the same. But look how different they are. Bodies are so different. And even though they weigh the same, and some of them are not completely different in height, there's such a difference in their bodies. But these are normal women's bodies. They're not the models and the people that we see on Instagram, the people that we see modeling swimwear. These are ordinary women. in a fetching NHS two-piece, by the way. Kind of looks, doesn't it? Has anybody told themselves this? I won't do it until I've lost a bit of weight.
All the time.
All
Yeah.
the time. Yeah. I did it myself. That I said, right, I've got to get some new photos done for my new website. Right, when I lose a half a stone, then I'm going to treat myself to go get these photos done. And then it's just been a real struggle, you know, a real, like, the fitness is there, but the, you know, the eating and stuff is just difficult. And I kept telling myself that. And then I just thought, do you know what? No, I'm just going to get it done. And I read this thing and it said, we're always half a stone away from feeling perfect.
Mm.
Wherever we are, whatever's going on, we're always half a stone away. And there'll probably be times in your life where you weighed less, or you had smaller clothes or whatever, but you still didn't feel confident enough to put that bikini on, or, you know, you still felt self-conscious. Does anyone remember that?
Yeah.
I looked at a picture. I was looking at some old pictures the other day, and it was when I just had kids, and I just got divorced, and I looked at myself and I thought, wow. But I said to my friend, I showed it to my friend, and I said, I felt really fat then. And I was, yeah, it's a shame really, because I thought I was fat then, but I'm like, was half the weight I am now. So it, yeah, I have definitely.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah,
That, like, it doesn't matter. So in a way, it doesn't matter what size you are or how much you weigh. And it's not about that. It's about your confidence.
yeah. I just got divorced, and my husband had an affair with someone. So I think that a lot to do with it. Like how my confidence was and how it had been knocked. So that was probably what it was.
But it's not about your body shape.
No, it
It's not about what you look like. It's how you feel inside, isn't it? That, you know, when you see, like, you see some of these this was a beach party for women of a certain size. I just found a picture to kind of illustrate the point. And the point is that, like, when you look at this, I don't feel horrified, or I don't, you know, I don't feel anything about these people, but what they're exhibiting is confidence. And you could find a woman, you know, half of their size, kind of shrinking and not feeling confident, but they would look better all day long because
They
of,
look like they're having fun, don't they?
yeah, because of the confidence they're wearing. So, you know, like, even this, I'm not confident enough to wear a swimsuit in public, is kind of realizing that it's never about you know, how much you weigh or how many inches you've lost. It's always about the confidence. That if you're confident enough, if you're, like, you know, one of these women that is literally proudly swinging her bingo wings around, and, you know, proudly being who she is, it doesn't matter what size she is, or how much she weighs, or, you know, how big her waist measurement is. It's about the confidence that's part of it. So you work on the confidence, and that stuff won't matter. Quite deep, isn't it? Quite deep tonight, Alison. You made us go there.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. This is good for me too. You know, kind of, you teach this stuff, but it kind of, you know, it goes in too, which is good. One of the first things to do is to sort of think about your own negative self-talk. So those kind of things that pop into your head, you know, like we talked about at the beginning, when we think about going to the beach, like those words that are kind of coming out, are they critical of what you look like? I used to have a thing about my feet, because when I was at school, people were like, oh, feet are so gross. Do you remember that? Like, when people talk about, like, oh, feet are so gross, and, like, feet are feet, you know, like, aren't we lucky to have them and walk on them? But I would be really self-conscious about my enormous troll feet, that I would wear shoes that would cover up my feet all the time, because people around me would say, oh, feet are gross. And, like, all of these voices that kind of happen, It's like understanding like what these negative thoughts are and catching them and thinking, well, where does that come from? Like, how do I know that? How do I know that to be true? And are these focusing on flaws, like things that you see as flaws or perceived imperfections? And once you kind of identify what they are, so when you're going to put on your swimming costume, or you know, you've got a day at the beach coming up, what are the things that kind of pop up in your head? And then let's look for the evidence. So don't just accept these negative thoughts. Ask ourselves, is it realistic? Is there real evidence to support this, or is it just the voice inside my head being loud? So if your thought is everyone's going to be staring at my flaws, ask yourself, is there real evidence? Are people really going to be looking at me, really? Or are they just enjoying themselves, doing that rather than judging me? But really thinking about each of these each of these thoughts that come up, and asking yourself, where is that coming from? Like, why is that happening? Whose voice is this? Is it my mum's? Is it my friend from school? Is it, you know, something I've seen online that tells me that this is not, in inverted commas, normal? And then once you've challenged that thought, we need to replace it with a better one. And so, for example, instead of I shouldn't wear a swimsuit because I'm not perfect, try something like I deserve to enjoy the beach just like everybody else. Instead of something like I'll look terrible compared to other people, try there's beauty in all shapes and sizes. I'm going to just rock my own amazing look. But almost like whatever those sentences are, that you rewrite it. Because the more that you have those negative thoughts in your head, they tell your body how to behave. So that if you have these negative thoughts that say, I'm not good enough, blah, 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 your brain goes, oh, okay. And you shrink and you become small. Not in the way that we all want, but, you know, but you as a person, you become small. Because our brains are listening to this voice, because our brain will do what we tell it to do. On the other hand, if we say to our brain, we're confident, we're okay, we're going to be okay, our body and our brain will reward us with all these amazing hormones and all these things that are like, oh yeah, I'm brilliant. The way that you stand up and you put your chin up and you put your shoulders back, all of those things that make you do that are because of the voice that you tell your brain to listen to. So almost just turning that around to be that. So if you've got a workbook or you've had to look at it, taking a few minutes to either in the chat, write it down, think about it to yourself, the things that you consider to be flaws on your body. So be honest, but don't dwell on negativity. You know, we're not going to sit there going from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. And then thinking about, for each flaw in inverted commas, to challenge yourself and find a positive way to reframe it. So if, for example, you might have big hips, can we say curvy and strong? If we've got short legs, can we say proportional and petite? So it's just trying to, whatever you think about your own body, trying to reframe it in a better light. So can you think of one, scribble them down, share if you like? Just give you a couple of minutes to think about that. Alison, anything you wanted to share?
I know this is sad, but I can't think of anything positive. I can only think of negative things about my body.
Do you want to share one?
Fat tummy.
Oh, but an
It
amazing.
It's honestly so bad.
Me too.
Oh, I
But,
can't think what I could say positive about it.
but what else can you say about what other positive things can you say about your body? Did you have you got children, Alison? You've got children, right? So you've got amazing children
I
and
do.
belly comes with it.
Mm.
Like if you look at most mums, unless they're, CrossFit people, we have that. And it's tough to get rid of. But like what a blessing.
Yeah, I know. I've seen some things on Facebook recently, dangerous place, obviously, about because that's another thing is awful, isn't it? But I think that's the media and everything. It's just so concentrated on what people look at. That's the thing, I think. But I've seen posts of people saying, well, it's a privilege to get old, and that's so true, isn't it? To be able to be healthy and get to an age. There's so many people that don't do that. So
It really is. And I was talking to a lady the other day, which kind of like put me in check a little bit. And she'd recently become disabled and she put on quite a bit of weight and, just the kind of not used to not being active. And she's pretty much wheelchair bound. And I
that's
thought
so
to
true.
myself,
I'm able to do exercise. I might not do as much as I should, but I could do it if I need to. It's just in my head that I don't do it, or I've got an excuse. So that is so true of
yeah,
not thinking what you have got, just thinking what you haven't got.
yeah. And all of that, like privilege, getting older and all the rest of it, I think you kind of, when it's sort of at your door, when people your own age have something wrong with them or whatever, like it kind of knocks at your own door a little bit and sort of reminds you. But maybe some of those things, Alison, just to remind you about to feel really grateful for like what you have. And do you know what? You can buy a nice big sucky in pair of pants. That's what I do. Like, and they're the biggest, most stretch. I mean, they're like this big, but they really stretch. And so what? Who cares? Like, I mean,
Brimming over the top, though. That's the problem. I don't think there's pants big enough.
oh, yeah, there is. You can get come all the way up here.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think with some of this stuff is that, like, if it makes you feel better, like I've got this particular outfit that I've got, and like my tummy looks really wobbly, and I don't like it. And I put on these massive pants, and it's like it just kind of squishes it in a bit, and it makes everything much better. And it's not the end. Who cares? It's only a massive. No one's going to see those pants unless it's my husband, and he sees me anyway, so he doesn't care. So it doesn't really, it kind of doesn't matter. Lee, did you have anything that you wanted to share?
Yeah, I feel like my biggest flaw is my thighs because they're quite chunky and big and a bit like Alison. I can't think of a positive, although when you were talking, I mean, I'm a hairdresser, so I kind of suppose I've got to say that they're strong and help me do my job. But yeah, I need to get something in my head to kind of, because that is what I always look at when I try clothes on. It's like, do my thighs look bigger in this? Do they cling? Because I've got quite a bit of cellulite on my thighs, and do they show that through? So that's always my biggest flaw. So yeah, it's trying to get something into your head that's a positive, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and just those strong legs that are holding you up while you're doing your
Mm,
job. Like you can't
yeah,
be upsat down, can you?
no,
Like,
exactly.
the amount of walking that you have to do, that you're going around to people's
Yeah,
houses and, changing gear in your car. You couldn't
yeah,
do it without those strong legs. Like
mm,
they're so important.
mm,
Lucy says, same as Lee, my thighs, but they're strong, they take me places. Exactly.
yeah. Suppose
Do you
that's the way
know,
we've got to think.
yeah, do you know anything for you? No. so there's all of these things. I think it's about putting things into perspective, isn't it? Like, in the grand scheme of things aren't the end of the world, are they? And all of these negative thoughts are, a lot of the time, they're based on our emotions, not facts. You know, Lee, you could look at a group of, 10 other women, and objectively they would have bigger thighs, more cellulite than you, but you will never see it.
Yeah.
Because you're fixated on how you look. And but actually, like, if you didn't care so much, if you cared as much as everybody else does, don't worry about it. And even like focusing on these objective truths about your body, instead of dwelling on insecurities, reminding yourself of the strengths. And I know it sounds like, it just sounds a bit like, well, that's not going to help. But if you keep doing it, instead of going, oh God, look at my wobbly tummy, well, I'll pop a nice big pair of pants on. Oh, look at my thighs. Okay, well, do you know what? I don't like the look of these trousers, so I'm going to just throw them away, because I'll never be happy with them. I had a dress exactly the same, right? I've got a big, massive bum, and the dress is cut wrong. It's not me. It's the dress is cut wrong. It's cut for people that like this, and I don't go like that. I go like that. So it's not me that's the problem. It's the dress. And I'm sticking to it, ladies. Let me do that much. But instead of kind of dwelling on those things, like, well, what are the things that we can do to make ourselves feel better? We might not have a flat stomach, but our legs are strong from doing all those walks. Like, if you think about like the exercise that you do now, I remind myself, I'm kind of, I don't know, like 13, 15 months in, I think. There are some things that I do now that I could never have done in a million years, like 15 months ago. And like, and where I like fall off the ball, like doing the pike, bloody hate that thing, by the way. Where I fell off the ball like months ago, and I cried because I was like, I can't do this. There was no way I could have even got up in that position, let alone fall off it months ago. So keeping reminding ourselves of all the things that we can do, and not focusing on the stuff that we can't. And then celebrating our lovely body. So you've got you've got another page on your list about things that you're grateful for. So can you think of at least 5 things, but in your own time, like where you can think of many things that you appreciate about your own body. So they could be things like physical attributes, like your strong arms, your smile. They could be like functional things like your energy or your resilience. Like, what are the things that you are really grateful for that you can think of? Alison, you got any thoughts?
My feet are all right.
Fab.
I think I'm quite a kind person, so yeah.
I think you're probably a kind person too.
Thank you.
But really thinking about, like, what are the things that we can be grateful of about our strong legs, about our strong back. Like Lee uses her hands for a job. She couldn't be without them. All of those things that you have about yourself, just taking a bit of time to scribble them down and just to remind yourself. And Alison, there's a lot more about you than your feet and your kindness. kind feet. But thinking all of those things about you, that, like, what is it about me? Do I like the way one of my eyebrows goes up? Do I like my teeth? Or all of these other things that you are forcing yourself to say, I'm so grateful for these, because this is how it makes me. I'm grateful for being 5'8" because I can reach the top shelf. All of those things that are really helpful. And there's a body shape on the page after, just for you to think about when you've got, I suppose, a bit more of a creative exercise for you to think about all of the things that you think are positive things about your body any quotes that you want to write, some kind of, you know, your grateful statements or whatever, just on that body map and stick it somewhere positive. You know, stick it like on your fridge or like somewhere where you kind of where you're thinking about your body, maybe even on the mirror or wherever, so that you can see those positive words, like colour it in, like, you know, whatever kind of makes you feel really good about that. So there's a little shape in there for you. And if you think about that little voice in our head that points out our flaws, mine's called Brenda. So apologies, anyone watching this back that's called Brenda. But Brenda is my inner critic, and she's mean sometimes. And she makes me feel bad about myself. But what we need to remember about this inner critic is that it's actually there to keep us safe. It's this little voice in our head that says, don't show yourself up, don't stick out, because if you stick out, something bad might happen. But what we need to say to our inner critic is that we're okay. It's okay, I can handle this. I'm not going to get shunned by my tribe, you know, because the tribe is a great place to be. But, you know, we're not going to get shunned. We're not going to be rejected. We're not going to be chased by lions. This inner critic is like this little voice in our heads that's, you know, from prehistoric times to keep us safe. And we don't need to do that. So another one of the pages is just about your inner critic. So if you can give your inner critic a name, what might yours be, Lee?
Oh, I don't know. I want to say Wendy, and I don't know why.
Wendy. Sorry, Wendy.
Yeah, sorry,
So
Wendy.
can we give yours a name?
I have no idea. Dora.
Dora. Dora the Explorer.
Yeah.
Jill, Lucy, can you think of names for your inner critics? Oh, Lucy's got Betty.
Oh, I like Betty.
In-law.
What about you, Jill? Have you got a name for yours?
I want to call it Derek.
Derek.
I don't know why. Derek.
Derek
Derek is an
Derek is your inner critic. So all of those, if we can give a name to this person in our head, even thinking about a funny image of this person, to try and distance ourselves from the negativity. So it's not us that's saying it, because I'm positive about myself. I want to feel confident. I want to be positive. But this little voice, this little person in my head, I'm going to pull myself away from it. And when you hear that little voice come in, we're going to say, is this realistic? Is this helpful? And replace that negativity with something positive. So thanks, Betty, Derek, Wendy, Dora. Thanks for trying to keep me safe, but I'm okay, thank you. I don't look terrible in this swimsuit. I'm actually rocking it. So thanks so much. My thighs don't look big. My belly isn't wobbly. I look great. But thanks for trying to keep me safe, Betty. Off you pop. If you can try and separate yourself from that noise, that it is not you, because you're a positive, wonderful person. And this little voice just needs to bugger off. And the more that we fight against it, the more that we counter what that voice says, even if it just tries and creeps in, oh, you look fat in that. People might laugh at you because it's got stripes on it. You're going to stick out. No. I like this dress. It feels good. I look fine. Betty, you can bugger off. You know, and go and ask someone positive's opinion. Come to the tribe and say, what does this dress look like? And I guarantee if you feel like it feels good, everyone will feel like it's good. And then at the bottom of that sheet is just about mantras for your own confidence. So when this little bit of self-doubt creeps in, using examples like, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, I'm worthy, anything that you feel like. Mine is I'm enough, because for a long time I never felt enough. So whenever I feel like this little creeps into my life, that I say to myself, I'm enough. I don't need to be, I am enough. I'm absolutely enough. I'm more than enough. And it helps kind of that positive thought when something kind of, you know, a bit unpleasant peeps in. So if you can think of something that you can scribble down that feels good for you, that will really help, just to kind of, you know, write it on your mirror, wherever you kind of hang out, you know, like on the fridge door, or, you know, just on post-it notes randomly around your house, that's just going to remind you of these positive words. And this is just, you know, for confidence in general. And then the last thing is about owning your beach day. So what I think sometimes we do is that we don't plan. We just kind of go, okay, we're going to the beach. And we put on the swimsuit that we hate with the underwire sticking in, and, you know, we haven't got the right things, and it makes us feel uncomfortable. So what is there any kind of swimsuit or anything that makes you feel good? So there's a million kinds, isn't there? Is there any particular kind that you feel like that is the kind for me? That's the sort of thing that I would wear that would make me feel good. And it's not a wetsuit, Alison. Is there any particular kinds that you like?
I would cover myself up with a sarong as well.
Nice. But if that makes you feel confident, it's good. But is there any particular kinds that you like, or any particular brands that you think, oh, that is the kind of thing for me? We just avoid it like the plague. Got some scraggy old swimsuit in the cupboard that we put on. Lucy wears a dress style swimming costume. I'm going to go and get one of those this year and see how that works. So I had a little look on Joe Brown's, and they've got some snazzy little numbers.
Can I just say that on that note, that I had one with a skirt, and I felt all right in it, and I was doing aqua aerobics with my friend, and I had to tie the skirt up because it was too flappy.
Yeah.
And eventually it gave way, all the elastic come out and everything. And I ended up buying a swimsuit to do aqua aerobics. And the following week when I went, I said to her, oh God, I feel really conscious without the skirt. And she said to me, your legs look so much better without the skirt, because the skirt cuts your legs off. She said, and they look dumpier than you probably think they are. So I've gone without the skirt. So before anyone decides to buy a skirt, get an opinion on the skirt, because
oh, that's wise words.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see how that would work.
I
Oh,
did the
so
skirt
pretty as well. Yeah, it was so pretty. But yeah, you might be right there. But there are all different kinds, isn't there? Like high-waisted ones that kind of like cover your tummy. You know, like a Hulk, you know, these kind of sculpture, you know, stuck in tummy things, and all the rest of it. There's so many different kinds. And I suppose thinking about what ingredients your swimsuit has to have to make you feel good, that whether it is about, like, I've got giant boobs, so having underwire is absolutely critical. Otherwise, we're in dangerous territory. You know, but there's certain things that, like, I think sometimes we panic and we just like, I don't really want to buy this thing. But instead of like really going into a bit of detail, getting loads of things to try to see how we feel, I think sometimes what we do is we go, that's in my size, I'll just take it. Buy the expensive one. If you're going to buy one, buy a nice one. Buy one that makes you feel good with these sculpting panels or whatever. Think about how it fits, a style that flatters your shape, you know, that's got a bit of colour on it. It gives you good support. And even if you've got cover-ups, like Alison was saying, about having a sarong or a kimono, or, you know, a floaty beach dress or whatever, that gives you the coverage that you might want. And even using things like accessories, like hats and jewellery and all the rest of it, that make it feel like more of an outfit rather than you're just parading around in your pants, I think would make you, it will give you more of a look that you're, you know, you're out for the day rather than just, you know, skipping along the beach in your undies. Sometimes some of the things that we need are a little confidence boost. So there's the internal confidence, the intrinsic confidence that, you know, we kind of need to build on over time with that inner critic stuff and all of that. But sometimes there's the kind of the confidence boost stuff that we need. So this kind of what this lady is doing with her arms up in the air, or this kind of Wonder Woman pose, you know, the hands on the hips, that is, again, telling your body, telling your brain that you're feeling confident. So even if you're faking it by putting your arms up in the air, going, okay, I'm going to listen to that crazy woman because apparently putting my arms up in the air is going to make me feel good. You put your arms up in the air for 2 minutes or your hands on your hips for 2 minutes. And your brain is then going, oh, okay, we're confident, sure. So then it's going to flood your body with these beautiful positive hormones and these beautiful positive feelings. Again, the same happens if we do this. Our body goes, okay, we need to hide. Okay, we're going to be small and not feel confident and hide. So we've got to kind of fake that bit of confidence for our body to kind of follow. Even with the lady with a pen in her teeth, putting a pen kind of as far back in your teeth as you can, so you get this like ridiculous smile. It's another thing that is this big smile that your body is then going to go, sure, we're smiling. Okay, let's give her all the hormones and the good feelings that she needs because she's smiling. You're kind of like feeding your body what it needs, and then it gives you what you need. You know, even if you don't feel completely confident initially, kind of projecting this confidence can trick your brain into feeling it for real. So yeah, the arms up in the air and the pen in your teeth. I mean, if you do that on the beach, fair play to you. But even if you do this like in your hotel room, that you're like, look, I'm just going to do this for 2 minutes. Don't watch me, and just stand there, and it will make a hell of a difference. So even if you just give it a try before you start work tomorrow, and before you leave the house, that'll be good. And then shift your attention instead of obsessing over your body on the beach. Think about the things that you're going to enjoy. You know, if Alison's lucky to take her new grandbaby to the beach, instead of worrying about what she looks like, let's think about having fun and making memories. You know, we have so many, you know, unless you live by the beach and you like going there on a, you know, in the winter, we're so lucky to have beach days and holidays and, you know, beautiful days that we can go to the beach. You know, what are we doing to enjoy that time? Those days are so few in the grand scheme of things. You know, are we building sandcastles? Are we reading a book under an umbrella, splashing in the waves, playing with friends? The more time that you think about actually having fun, the less time you're worrying about self-doubt. You know, a lot of us will sit there and watch our kids on the beach or read a book, you know, on the beach that we just don't get the time to do, the, you know, being around the water and the fresh air and all of that stuff. And taking just a minute to kind of appreciate what you've got around you and feel the sand between your toes, listen to the noise of the waves crashing, because really these days don't happen very often for us. And people are there to enjoy themselves. They're not there to judge other people. So the more that you focus on your own experience and just forget everybody else on that beach, because they don't care about you either, and you don't need to care about them, and have a bit of fun. It is a great place to, you know, by the pool, by the beach, to create these lasting memories. So focus on the enjoying the experience with those people. Or the silence of without people, of course. And giving yourself that bit of a pep talk before you go, doing those confidence exercises. The more positive that you feel in anticipation of that, the more confident you're going to feel. And there's visualizations that you can do, and these work brilliantly to prepare you for anything that's a bit scary. So I do this with my 7-year-old, and it works, a treat for her, and it works for grown-ups too. So imagine yourself doing something confidently. So again, we're tricking your brain into believing that we've already done it. So if you're about, you know, even if you're doing something like a job interview or something that, you know, is a bit nerve-wracking, you're going somewhere for the first time, if you close your eyes and imagine yourself going through the motions, so closing your eyes and imagining that you are arriving at a beautiful beach or the pool, feeling the sun on your skin and the breeze through your hair, and hearing the sound of the waves and the water trickling around, noticing the colours of what's going on, and really focusing on what you can see, what you can hear, the pool, the colours of the towels, smelling the salty air, really visualizing this environment and then seeing yourself in your swimsuit, not focusing on flaws. You're looking at how it makes you feel. Maybe it's supportive, it's colourful, it's that really expensive one that you really wanted to buy, and feeling the feelings of sand between your toes, the strength in your legs, all of those things, and walking with real grace and purpose, you know, playing the games or reading the book or whatever. But if you can take yourself through that whole journey of, you know, walking down from your hotel room or getting out of the car or whatever, and going through the motions of having a good day at the beach, your brain will then, when you go to do it for real, will go, we've done this already and we're confident. Nothing bad will happen because we've done it already. And these visualizations work with a lot of things. Has anybody used any visualizations like that before? I know it sounds a bit bonkers, but all you're doing is kind of leaning into what your brain is like. It's the, you know, the psychology of it, and using that for good. So then the last thing that you've got on your workbook is an action plan. So thinking about what you wear, what your when your inner critic starts speaking, what you're going to do, the activities that you're going to plan to do at the beach, rather than just worrying about, you know, that you need to remember to take the frisbee and all that. Reframing your biggest flaw, being grateful for that day, and what your confidence mantra is. So anytime that you're facing something that you're not feeling confident about, the preparation of it is going to help you so much more than just walking into it and thinking, okay, I'll just be okay, when you're worried about it. So you can kind of like reuse that for most things, but you know, just for these purposes, that will do. So has anybody got any questions or any thoughts? You're knackered, aren't you? Tuck up to bed and go visualise a nice Barbados holiday.
I was thinking about a biscuit.
No, you don't want a biscuit.
No, I know that, but I just had a really craving for one.
No, don't have a biscuit. Have a glass of water. I've heard they're great. Thanks, Lucy. Lucy also did say that she got her swimming costume, her dress style one from Asda, and it made her feel less conscious. But she gets away with that style because she's tall, long legs, so she doesn't need to worry about that. Thank you, Lucy. Thanks for joining us. Thank you so much, everyone. It's lovely to see you. If you've got any questions or any thoughts, then, you can always get in touch. I'm always in the tribe. I'm going to stay here an extra couple of minutes, so if anyone wants to stay on, you're quite welcome to. It's lovely to see you.
Lovely to see you. Thanks, Sarah.